Hello, my name is Tammy Coley, and welcome to BlackLine's Anonymous Accountant Process Transformation Series. We've been traveling all over the world meeting with accountants who are tired of manual, routine processes. Today's Anonymous Accountant is from North Carolina, and we'll be sharing his process for prepaid expenses so that you too can transform your processes using BlackLine. My Anonymous Accountant is focused on prepaid expenses and how to transform the prepaid expense process. So let's start by taking a look at the current process. You guys are probably all very familiar with the Prepaid Expenses Excel workbook. And this is a big one. We have all of our prepaid expenses. We've got the invoice number, we've got the document number, we've got the descriptions, the from and the to date and the total payment. And then of course we've got all of these, let me open this up and show you. All of these months and months and months of amortization that have been calculated using Excel. So I'm sure you're all very familiar with this format. This is what we all used to do, or probably still are doing for a lot of you guys, in terms of our prepaid expenses before we transform our process. Just want to point out also for this Anonymous Accountant, they like to have their prepaid expenses broken out into categories. And so they have a category that they call SG&A. That's this top category up here. Let me highlight that for you. And then they have a category called, this is called plants. And so there's a lot of these, but let me see if I can get back to the top. Here we go. All of these are the prepaids that fall under the category that they call plants. I see there's a lot of color coding going on here. And then they also have one more category that they call their quarterly. And so that's all of these that are down at the bottom of their spreadsheet. So my point here is just to show you how my Anonymous Accountant had previously performed their prepaid expenses process. Lots and lots of formulas, lots and lots of opportunity for error, trying to keep, oh my goodness. So we have quite a bit going on in errors on this Excel spreadsheet already. So it's a good thing that we've already transformed this process. Oh, that's from back in 2015. Wow. Okay, so for this particular process, you see the Excel spreadsheet, you see how they used to do their process previously in Excel. So let's see how we can transform this process using BlackLine. So what we did was we took our prepaids from this spreadsheet and we loaded them into the BlackLine template that allows us to easily load multiple prepaid transactions at one time to BlackLine. So this is the BlackLine template to load these transactions to BlackLine. We just pulled the relevant fields from the big hairy Excel spreadsheet that we used to use to track our prepaids. We pulled all the relevant fields, we put them into the BlackLine template showing the begin date and ending date for our amortization for each item, the total dollar amount for each item, a description, an open date, what date do we want to open it on the reconciliation, and the GL account coding so that we can record the amortization. So now let's go into BlackLine and see what happened after we loaded these transactions to BlackLine. So I'm the preparer. I'm in as preparer. Let me go back to my preparer screen. So I am the preparer, and this is my dashboard. And I want to show you, as a result of loading those transactions to BlackLine, for the prepaid expenses reconciliation, I'm going to filter for that reconciliation right quickly here. Let's see, it's my insurance prepaid reconciliation. Oopsie, let me go over here. I've got a filter on here that's keeping me from seeing that reconciliation. Let me take that filter off, and there it is. So it's my insurance prepaid reconciliation, and let me take you in there so I can show you what it looks like now that we have transformed this process. So remember that big hairy spreadsheet that I showed you in the before transformation video. This is what it looks like now. Remember I talked about my Anonymous Accountant needing to keep track of the prepaid insurance by plants, quarterly, and SG&A, the three categories. So here are the three categories, and these are the totals as it relates to the balance remaining on the schedules for each of those prepaids based on that category. And if I want to, I can open up that category. That was the summary that I was showing you on the face of the reconciliation. I can open that up and I can see here are the 14 individual prepaid transactions that all go to that SG&A category. I can also see as a result of my upload, let's just take, for example, let's just look at this one. I want to show you how BlackLine calculated the amortization schedule for each of those prepaids that I loaded from that template that we talked about. So BlackLine calculated the prepaid amortization. You can see the amortization schedule here. BlackLine calculated the amortization schedule for all of those prepaids, and that is all done. So after we loaded that template that I shared with you earlier, we loaded it to BlackLine, then we assigned the summary description, whether it was plants, quarterly, or SG&A. We assigned that summary description to each of the prepaid items, and that's how we got to this look for our reconciliation. Wow, how clean is that? Each of those items having its own separate amortization schedule. Now I've got to show you that you can just show the detail for all of your prepaid expenses. If you just click on that show detail button, here they are. Now right now I'm only seeing 10 of them, but I can open this up and see all 29 of those prepaid expenses all right here on the face of my reconciliation if I prefer to see them that way. I can also go back and I can hide the detail, and there we are back to that summarized view of all of my prepaid expenses. So let me also show you that I can run a roll forward, because some of us accountants really love the look of that roll forward schedule and we don't want to get rid of that thing. So BlackLine can automatically generate that roll forward schedule for you. You can see here this roll forward schedule is showing you the balance remaining in all of the prepaids. So individually for each prepaid, I can see the balance remaining for each month that's remaining for the life of that prepaid. It also breaks out, it shows me the original amount, but it also breaks it out between the current portion and the long-term portion of that prepaid. So that's another really cool feature. I can go over here to view, and right now I'm looking at balances, but if I want to see my amortization for each month, I can click on the activity. Did you see where I was on balances, I was here, and I clicked on activity, and now I'm able to see my amortization for each of the periods associated with each individual prepaid. So, and the other thing that's really cool about this is if I wanted to, I could just click on the export button and I can export this roll forward schedule. I can just export that to Excel. But we don't really need Excel for this, right? Okay, so that's the prepaid reconciliation all done. Remember, all I did was just kind of upload that schedule with all of those items. I assigned a summary item so I could get it in the categories the way my anonymous accountant wanted it, and I end up with my prepaid schedule. So I also want to show you that I can go to a future period. So let's just go to August, for example. And because I loaded this schedule in June, I never have to touch these prepaids again. BlackLine has automatically calculated for me what is the balance that should be available or should be outstanding for that prepaid as of August. So once we loaded those prepaid items one time, we never have to touch those items again. Load it, attach all the supporting documentation, and that supporting documentation carries with that prepaid, and as long as there's a balance, that prepaid is going to be, the balance is going to be showing on the future period reconciliations, and that prepaid expense reconciliation can auto-certify. Each month, though, you will have to add your new prepaids for the month, and once you get the new prepaid expenses added in there, again, you're ready to auto-certify. So the other thing I wanted to show you that's really, really cool about the prepaid expense transformation process in BlackLine, let me take you here. I want to show you the journal entry that was generated as a result of those prepaid expenses. So I can see here are my journal assignments. Uh-oh, I'm in the wrong period. We were looking at June. So let me go to June and show you my journal assignment. I haven't run the journal entry yet for August. That's why it wasn't there yet. But I did run the one for June. Here's my June journal entry assignment. It's right here. And this is the journal entry that was generated from BlackLine as a result of all of those amortization schedules associated with the prepaid expense reconciliation. So here you'll see all of the debits and credits, the account number that was associated with the amortization. So the account number is associated with each of the different prepaid expense line items. There's an account number that's going to give you the expense account to charge that amortization. And then all of the credits, of course, are going to go to the prepaid expense account. So all of my debits and credits are here. And then if I want to see, just need to see those prepaids and what is the balance of those prepaids for this period. Again, this is showing for June. Here they are. So I'm able to see what are the items that generated this amortization for this journal entry. All right here. I don't have to do anything. As a preparer, once I've entered that prepaid expense one time, I just push a button and I'm able to generate this journal entry to then get that amortization recorded. So that's it. That is our prepaid expenses process transformation. Thanks for watching today. Please be sure to check out additional episodes of BlackLine's Anonymous Accountant Process Transformation series.